temperature probes. You saw nothing. Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to take another look at the Socket 462 build. More so the cool case that I found that was pretty appropriate to put the build into. For those of you that this is the first time you're seeing this case, it's a Cooler Master Wave Master case that I picked up from the resale shop for less than $10 actually, and I was pretty excited. So I took my existing Socket 462 build, which is an AMD Athlon XP 2400, and I threw it into there. It was a lot more period correct than the, I think it was a Fantex or something I had built in there. I don't remember. Anyways, not important. What is important is that this thing has 4 80mm fans in it, and they are loud as heck. They're unbelievably loud. It sounds like this. And to combat that, the previous owner of this case had installed this Cooler Master aerogate 2 into it. It's a fan controller and temperature monitor. Unfortunately, it didn't come with any of the temperature monitor probes. So I did a little digging online and I found where I could order up some temperature probes. So hopefully these will work right. Everything that I looked at would not tell me the ohm rating of the temperature probes. So I just kind of had to buy what I could find, and these are rated at 10K. And what it is basically, this is just a, there you go. There's just a resistance in the wires. I don't know if there's a resistor in there somewhere or if it's in the very end, but basically, if this is close enough, like if maybe they used a 9,000 or a 12,000, this should be close enough. The readings would be a hair off, but I'm not too worried about that. I just want to get it working. So that's what we're going to do. And then the fans that this is going to control, these old fans, they're nice, they're nostalgic, and one of them glows blue, but they're awful fans. So I bought a handful of some Noctua Redux 80s, the NFR8s. These are max RPM of 1200, and they should be super quiet, and they should move more than enough air to keep this thing cool. And right now at this very second, I just realized I probably should have bought one to replace the CPU fan and possibly the fans in the power supply, because I think there's 2 80mm in here. But we're going to continue on with these because when this build was in the other case, it was quiet enough. I don't remember it being too loud, and it had the same power supply and CPU fan. So we're going to stick these in there, and hopefully these are going to quiet this thing down considerably. So why don't we start with that? So in the front here was 2 80mm. All the way in the back is another 80mm fan. And then up here, can we see that? Yeah, up in the top of the case is one more 80mm. And they all scream at basically full RPM because they're connected to the power supply rather than the motherboard. So there's no speed adjustments done to them by the motherboard. So we're going to quiet these things down a little bit. So like I said, these front fans, they're controlled just from, or they're powered just by the power supply. So they're on 12 volts, full blast, full RPM. If they can go up to 3,000 or 4,000 RPM, they're going up to 4,000 RPM. And they're loud. So let's do something about that. Take the little cage out. Bring it around here to the other side. Now it's time for everybody's favorite noise. Oh, it didn't do it that time. What? Oh, there it is. All right, let's see here. And there we go. So here's a small tidbit of information. Almost every fan I've ever encountered has a build date on it somewhere. So this one is from 2004, September 12th, 2004. So this has been around quite some time. Okay, I've got it all together and I put it in there and stuck the screws in there. Nothing's tightened down. Like I said on the first go around with this, it's very fiddly to get everything to line up correctly. So we skipped that part. So I'm going to just tighten these screws down so that the brackets are in the right place. And then we'll tighten the screws for the fans so that nothing's binding up. Because the first time when I put it in there, things didn't line up 100%, and there was a lot of loosening and tightening and messing around with it. This time it should be perfect. There we go. Perfect. So let me hook these wires here up, the ones we unplugged. These are for the LEDs behind this panel here. It's pretty, I don't know why they did these separate. That's weird. They could have both went to the same thing. That could have been a little nicer. Step up your game, Cooler Master. Next, let's swap this one here out. This one, not the easiest one to put in. Nope. Oh, where'd you go? All right, I found it. It actually landed up here somehow on top of the CD-ROM. That's strange. Anyways, so summer is finally, well, spring, I guess. I don't know. Summer weather's definitely hit where I live. And it's 80 some degrees out, and it's like 90 degrees in this room. I don't have central air in this apartment. So it is getting toasty in here. There we go. This should be a little easier. Should be. It's tough to do this when you can't see anything down there. There you go. There we go. I win. Got the Antec fan out of there and swapped out with the Noctua. No date code on the Antec, but I imagine it's of a pretty similar vintage. So let us drop this in there, or put it in there, install it. So now let's do this balancing act to get this these screws back in there. I did it once. I can do it again, right? I think the first time I did this, we did it without the motherboard and stuff in here, so there's quite a bit more stuff in the way. I might have to do this without the camera in the way. I don't know. Let's try a little more. Definitely get the top two. Is it going in? Going in that? It is not. Bummer. Where'd that go? Where'd you go? Alright, I think I figured out a better way to do this. Just flip it over. Now I can see. There we go. There we go. Big meaty claws are in the way. There we go. Easy peasy. All right, so I just got the two screws in the front part of the fan. It dawned on me that I forgot to press record, but I mean, what are you gonna do, man? Life's tough. Let's change this fan out now. There we go. Simple. All pretty simple to do. Oh man, I hope this one might not be long enough to reach the front of the case. I mean, I have extensions, but that's kind of a bummer. Next step is going to be, we're going to stick this back into the case. Before we do that, we're going to want to attach our temperature probes. You saw nothing. And I'm just looking, come on, focus. Anyways, I'm looking at the PCB and I don't see, it's probably not a thing, but they don't mark a pin 1 on these pins. So if we plug these in and they don't work, we might have to take it out and plug it in the other way around. There's absolutely a pin 1, you know, on the harness, if you can call it that. However, I don't know if it's going to matter. I mean, again, we'll find out. We will find out. And I don't know, like, these might have been, the wires that came from the factory might have been labeled on here, but I don't know, like, which zone is which. So to find out, you know, if this one here is HDD and the next one is VGA and CPU or case or system, like, I don't know. So it'll be some trial and error, that's for sure. So let's go ahead and put these all on. Yeah, it just says send 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then fan 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, oh, and I almost forgot. We're gonna take this fan out of it because I don't want to use up one of these jumpers, or I don't want to use one of these fan outputs. Maybe because it's going to be behind this closed door. How much air can it possibly get, you know? It's also not cooling a hard drive, so. I like the color scheme too. It goes really well with this case. The brushed aluminum look. Definitely increase the amount of wires in here. That's for sure. Holy cow. Alright, no big deal. There we go. Alright, now we gotta try and plug things into that little tiny area in there. Not that it's gonna be the hardest thing in the world, but I won't be able to see very well. Does this reach? It does not reach. Okay, let me see if I have an adapter to adapt a 4-pin Molex to a tiny 4-pin Molex that goes up there. Like a floppy drive connection. Turns out I do have an adapter. Whoa! Right there. And this is for an old video card. Basically, it adapts one full-size 4-pin Molex into 2 smaller ones. There it is. So now, all of our fans are hooked up, power's hooked up to it, and we have our temperature sensors. These aren't super accurate. You just kind of, come here. Like if you wanted to monitor, zoom out. There we go. If you wanted to monitor like your north bridge or something like that, you would just kind of like put it among the fins, or maybe Kapton tape it to the bottom of the heatsink. Same thing with the CPU and stuff like that. You kind of just like put it in the area, and you got a kind of a ballpark figure of how hot it was running. But like I said, it's not super. It's not super accurate, really. So maybe we should turn this on, let it warm up, and then I can start putting these in warm places and see what reading starts going up. But first and foremost, I'm kind of interested to see how loud this thing is. Or maybe it's not loud anymore. Maybe it's super quiet. Let's find out. All right, noise test number 1. Well, it's much quieter. I think we're hearing the power supply more than anything now. All right, so what are we set on here? Ooh, color, first and foremost. Can I just pick a color? Yellow, white, yellow, why did it go back? Purple. Does that not? Uh-oh. Disk boot failure. No! Try that again. Cord was very loose. The SATA cord was very loose. Okay, booted. Alright, back to this. So, let's turn the fans all the way up. Okay, that looks like it's full RPM. Definitely quieter than it used to be. Color. Can we just have one solid color? Oh. Red, white. I can have red or I can have cycling. Nope. Maybe press it when it gets to the color you want. I want blue. There we go. We figured that out. That only took all of our brain power to do. Anyways, so let's see here. CPU. Okay, CPU temperature. It says 30. We know that's not right. That's not the CPU. And I don't know how fast this thing's polling is. That doesn't seem to be it. There we go. Yep. This one is CPU. Which one is that? That's the first one. Okay. I should definitely somehow mark these. Piece of tape, maybe. So my fingers, like this is all I'm doing. 36.5 degrees Celsius. Let's see which one VGA is. VGA. And that is number 2. So I'm going to guess that HDD is 3. So let's see if we turn the fans all the way down. Fans down to like maybe 700. They're not making a lot of noise. All right, 1350 is as high as those fans are gonna go. Yeah, that's definitely, that power supply kicks out some air. Those fans in there are just, they're running full. But that's not too bad, especially for a case of this vintage, or hardware of this vintage. So let's I'm gonna run these temperature probes. Like on the VGA, I can't really attach it to that heatsink very well. I might be able to go up underneath it. I'd have to take this apart and get some Kapton tape and put it in there somewhere a little bit more permanently. But for now, that heatsink back there is going to give us a really loose idea of how hot that video card is running. But I would imagine I could probably get a better reading on this just simply through like hardware monitor. However, the CPU, I don't believe has a good hardware monitor. Like there's no sensors in here anywhere, I don't think, that gives you a good reading. So for now, I just have it kind of shoved in there between the fins, and again, that is not the way to do it. But we'll come up with a more elegant solution later. I just really wanted to get this, what do you call it? What was the name of that thing? Cooler Master Aero something or other. The aerogate 2. I just wanted this hooked up, lights working, the fans more than anything to be powered from it, and to have our nice new Noctuas in there so that it's relatively quieter. And I think we've done a good job so far. So let's cap this thing back up and get it good and warmed up. Okay, so it's reached 65 degrees. I'm just running this demo here in 3D Mark 2001, I think. And it doesn't seem to like 65 degrees. I wonder if I can change that threshold. Yeah, see, it's cooling off now. I'll see if I can't find like a PDF instruction manual on this to see if we can't change how that works. What if we just hold down CPU? There we go. I can change that. That's cool. That'll work. Anyways, so yeah, this was cool. I think this was a... So yeah, this is. I think this has been pretty successful. We quieted down the case, albeit with $55 worth of Noctuas, and we installed this cool little Cooler Master aerogate to kind of monitor our temperatures and control our fans. I might want to replace the fans that are in the power supply because they do sound loud, or maybe just put some resistors in there so that like we can slow them down a little bit, because the amount of air kicking out of the back of this, I think that's a lot for a power supply, but maybe it needs it. I don't know. Anyways, I just wanted to do a quick video on this, fixing some of the faults that I thought it had when I got it. Not particularly with the case. The case is really nice, but the fans that were in it were old. They were loud, and they spun at like 6,000 RPM. Now we have nicer fans in it that are new and spin at like 1,200 RPM. So it is definitely nicer to be next to this thing now. And we kind of restored this thing. Got new temperature sensors for it, or temperature probes for it. Learned how to change the color. Learned how to set that. We just learned how to set the alarm threshold for the temperatures, which is kind of nice. And maybe we'll see this one again when, because I definitely want to hook the temperature probes up to the CPU cooler a little bit nicer to get a more accurate reading. And then, of course, the VGA and the HDD both need their sensors to be applied in a nicer way. So maybe we'll see it again, or maybe we won't. I don't know. I do want to start playing some games from the time on this machine. That includes like Oblivion, Dawn of the Dead, Road to Fiddler's Green, I think it was called, and some other games that I have laying around still. It'd be fun to sort of go down memory lane and play with this system, which is very close to a system I had back in like 2004. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you like this computer build and the case. I had a whole lot of fun with it so far, and I hope that we'll see this computer again in the future. I'm definitely going to do some gaming on it. So I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. See you next time.